All right, good morning, everybody. I'm going to start in just a second with our Socrata overview presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to enter them in the chat box today, and we'll ask them and answer them as they come in. We want to make this a very interactive experience today. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get started. Just to give you a little overview about why open data and why Socrata and what is open data. Open data is this idea that as cities, counties, states, and entities start proactively publishing their information in machine-readable formats, users and citizens and developers can do things with them that they otherwise couldn't. It's really about solving this problem of data access. How do we get information to people in the format that makes the most sense to them, whether that's a map, chart, or graph, or whether that's a RESTful API endpoint. Different people have different uses and different needs for their data, and we're really trying to solve this problem again of data access. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, why open data? There are all of these buzzwords, these reasons for participating in open data. It can help improve transparency. It could help build public trust. It can help strengthen citizen engagement, as well as reduce operating costs and support data-driven decision-making processes, as well as promote economic activity. All of these are sort of the high-level 30,000-foot reasons for why organizations should get started with an open data program, an open data initiative. This is what we see as the open data continuum model. Right now, most organizations live in what we consider level 1, which is the status quo. There are scattered spreadsheets online, PDFs online. You can't do a whole lot with PDFs. They are not machine readable. They might as well be an image on the screen. And we really want to get access to that data in a format that makes, again, a lot of sense for developers, for community members to do things with that information. The level 1 status quo is also a bunch of clumsy, what we consider clumsy, custom, one-off web applications. Moving along this continuum on this data maturity model, we see level 2 as much more of the catalog phase. You can consider this, a SharePoint matrix online, a basic catalog of downloadable files that are in some of these machine-readable forms, CSV, XLS, shape, and zip files, as well as more custom, extensive web applications. Seems like we have a question coming in. Is the webinar being recorded, and will it be made available to participants later? The webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website after the presentation today. Great question, thank you. What we consider level 3 is where Socrata really starts, which is the manual data publishing, a basic catalog experience. You can manually upload spreadsheets and tables and different graphs, and there's some basic functionality around them. The idea of being able to create these maps and charts and really interact with data and get your hands dirty with the data if that's something that you want to do. And if you just want to look at a map and chart or a graph, that functionality also exists. What we see more as the level 4 of this continuum model is more of a data as a platform idea. Information is really consumable. There's data-driven storytelling around this data. We're really trying to build out this narrative around different types of data, as well as a high-performance API infrastructure. APIs allow programs to systematically access data sets and systematically use those data to power their applications. So think maps with points on them. This is all powered by an API. As well as automated data publishing, federation, and distribution, being able to plug and chug different data sets. Then you start getting around these ideas of benchmarking and metric-driven federation. What we see as the level 5 of open data is really the connected ecosystem. Data for fact-based decisions and performance, and data syndication for mass consumer applications. What we see as this level 5, this great connected ecosystem, is a story we have from the city of San Francisco. City of San Francisco is currently publishing their restaurant inspection scores onto their Socrata platform. They're doing so in a programmatic fashion. Yelp is then able to take those restaurant inspection scores by leveraging our API and automatically adding those restaurant inspection scores to their Yelp reviews. So not only do you see ratings of the restaurant in the Yelp score, but you also see their government data-powered restaurant score right there within the application. There's also crowdsourced data and human sensor networks. A really good example of this is all the light posts within the city of Seattle have QR codes on them. These QR codes allow citizens to take a picture of the QR code and send it into the city whenever a light is out to help speed the process of replacing broken and out lightages. There's also internal data collaboration hubs and real-time data ecosystems and industry exchanges. So again, we're really trying to get everyone into this connected ecosystem and further along this data maturity model. So why Socrata then? Socrata is a Seattle-based software as a service company with a global presence. We have offices in New York, London, Seattle, as well as DC. We were founded in 2007 as the world leader in open data and government performance management. We're focused exclusively on democratizing access to public data, again, to improve citizen engagement, increase transparency, drive innovation, and help make data-driven decisions. We are the trusted provider. 90% of U.S. city programs, U.S. city open data programs are powered by Socrata. We have about a third of the states on board with Socrata, 50 million page views per month, as well as 100,000 managed customer data sets worldwide, as well as a 12x growth on applications built on top of the Socrata platform, leveraging our API. Again, a little bit more about these 100,000 data sets that we have on the Socrata platform. We see a 250% annual growth in the volume of data served, as well as 250 million citizens served to date on all of our various Socrata open data portals. We see a 1,000% growth in annual API calls and over 50 million page views per month, again, on all of our various portals. We are the thought leaders when it comes to open data. We have many federal, state, city, county, and worldwide organizations that we work with. To highlight a few, we work with multilateral organizations including USAID, the World Bank, Gates Foundation, as well as the United Nations. Again, a third of the states, Hawaii, California, Texas, Washington, Colorado, Indiana, just to name a few. Including federal representation as well, the Executive Office of the President, Medicare, HHS, CDC, Data.gov, and Energy Star are some of our customers. Again, many of the larger cities in the U.S. are customers of Socrata as well. Think the Chicago's, San Francisco's, LA's, New York's of the world, as well as the city of Edmonton and a couple other deployments in Canada as well. So a little bit more about Socrata and what we do as a whole. Really, it's about connecting all of your disparate systems through the Socrata open connectors and bringing all of that information up into the Socrata data cloud. Once it's in the cloud, once it's on our platform, we can do a ton of things with it. First thing we do is we automatically geocode and API every data set as it's published into the Socrata platform. And that's what you see as this data access layer. Starting with the left here, this is really our catalog, which we consider the very basic step of getting started with Socrata is that catalog view. You have some basic data discovery and exploration, as well as some charts and maps and graphs that you can create right within the platform. There's also great workflows, as well as data federation and sharing across Socrata instances. The catalog is really the base experience that then everything that Socrata does is built on top of. Some of those things include what's in this middle slide here, which are the financial transparency suite of applications that we have started to build ourselves. You see this, this last mile effort to help bring contextual experiences to different high-value data sets, including budgets and expenditures. For example, the first application that we built is Socrata Open Budget, which again helps add a layer of context around budgetary information and what we consider to be consistent across all cities, states, and counties' high-value data sets. And then moving over to the right here, you see Socrata Open Performance, and this is our GovStat platform, as well as our drag-and-drop report builder. GovStat is much more about performance and a stat methodology around how am I doing relative to goals. So think of this as I want to increase X by Y by year 2015, or I want to decrease crime in the city of whatever by the year 2018. All of those questions and those methodologies are all powered by data that is coming into GovStat through the Socrata platform, and then is powering all of these goals and metrics and dashboards. This next slide here really elaborates more on this idea of connectors. Cities, states, counties, they have their Oracle systems, they have their dynamic systems, they have their GIS shop. We try to take all of those different connectors and bring them into the Socrata cloud, so that way it can feed all of these different applications and these different systems, really building towards this ecosystem of data. The Yelp story I told earlier, you see there on the right-hand side under consumer applications, as well as Trulia and Zillow. Again, we're really trying to be that connection layer between your underlying systems and all of these different services through a one-to-many relationship. With that being said, now it's time to just go ahead and jump into a couple examples, unless there are any questions. And it seems like we don't have any questions now, so we'll go ahead and jump into a couple live examples. This is a data set from the city of Seattle under data.seattle.gov. We can come to the home page in a second, but I wanted to start here because this is the base experience to Socrata. It's this catalog of data. Not a whole lot of people get a ton of value out of staring at spreadsheets of data, but they do get a lot of value out of the information that this data set provides. When we go over here to our Visualize tab, you can see that there are different charts and graphs that you can make from this data, and then save those as views on top of this data without changing the underlying information. And that's really important, right? We want to be able to contextualize that without ever changing the underlying data itself. You can see here that you can also create maps on top of this data, whether that be a point, a boundary, or a heat map. And again, that's because we're automatically geocoding every single data set as it's added to the Socrata platform. So this particular data set is updated on a 5-minute rolling basis. So that means that every 5 minutes, a new row or a new set of rows is added to this data set as crimes occur within the city of Seattle. And to tell you the full life cycle of the story, we are connected into their system. They're leveraging our API in order to input this data onto the Socrata platform, and then it feeds all of these different systems and different applications that are built on top of this data set. One such application you can see here in the App Store, Seattle 911 by Stephen Elridge. This application is leveraging our API to add a layer of context around that base spreadsheet that you saw on the previous screen in order to tell a more contextual story about Seattle crime information. And you can look, there's different addresses and dates and times and types, all from the data set that you saw previously, but now in a much more user-friendly experience. Another crime data set that I like walking through is the City of Raleigh's Open Data Catalog. We look here and we see that one of the sections of this landing page is public safety. So coming in here to public safety, we can see that one of the sections is daily police incidents. I like looking at this one because it's nice, it's simple, and it gets the point across. Here we have this again base spreadsheet. We see that this is the geolocation column that's automatically generated as data sets are added into the Socrata platform. We can then create a quick map off of this data set. We'll just do a point map with a location column. And there, we have a map of all crimes that have occurred today within the city of Raleigh. Again, another great example. Similar to this one is the state of Oregon's voting access site. They have a whole bunch of information, including county UCs and all of these different descriptor information about different voting locations within the state of Oregon. The way that this process used to work is this spreadsheet lived on someone's computer. They would manually manage this spreadsheet. They would send it over to the GIS team in order to locate all of these and put them on maps, and then send it to another team in order to update the website with all of this information on it before it was able to be published onto the state of Oregon's page. So that being said, this was end-to-end about a month process. When the state of Oregon and the state of Oregon Marine Board joined up with Socrata, they were able to streamline this process in about 2 hours of time. Looks like we have a question about the Seattle 911 call app. For the Seattle 911 calls and the incidents in Raleigh, are the addresses the exact location of the incident or just the block where it occurred? That's a great question. We anonymize up to the block level. That way there's no PII incidents or whatever, but the power of the Socrata platform is that you can control how far and permissioning and all of these different aspects of the data. Like say you want to scrub it completely of all block information and up to the city level, you can do that. You can make data sets public and private. You can, again, anonymize to the block level. Whatever makes the most sense for that data. We never want to be in a situation where privacy issues come into effect. And so we built controls in around all of that. Great question, thank you. So back over here to our state of Oregon data set. This process took them end-to-end about a month in order to update their state webpage. We now see that through Socrata and the use of our embed functionality, they were able to take that data set, build a map on top of it, and then re-embed that onto their state website, which is what you're seeing here in this little embed function here. Again, powered by Socrata, trying to be this connector and build a one-to-many relationship from the underlying data to all of these different endpoints that might use and leverage this data. In this case, the state of Oregon and all of the consumers of its voting launch information. So we're going to go ahead and drill in here on the state of Oregon Marine Board section. You can see that we do a little bit of clustering around different locations. And we can take a look at all of these different voting landing pages and these voting launch sections. Here we'll look at Haystack West, and we can see that there's a ton of information about this particular boat launch, including that it is a ramp and that there are restrooms here. Here again is the geolocation, and that it's located on the Haystack Reservoir, and it's managed by the U.S. Forest Service, and if you want to give them a call, here's the phone number. Again, all of this information was available in the spreadsheet, but we've been able to add that to a map and speed up the process in order to help the state of Oregon manage this business process a lot better and a lot more efficiently. Are there any questions today about this? If not, we'll go ahead and move on. Doesn't look like it, so We'll go ahead and move on to the next example. This is our financial transparency application. This application we have built leveraging our own API. We like to say drinking our own champagne as a coy way to think about it. We can see that budgets, every city, every state, every county has a budget that they're very interested in, and they need to display that back out to the public. This is what we call a high-value data set that's pretty standard across, again, most cities, counties, states. What we've done is we've built a really contextual experience around this type of data. This is a beta site. As you can see, there's still some lorem ipsum filler text in here with all dummy data, and I don't even know if there is a county of New Alexandria. I'm sure there is somewhere. But again, just a demo site to really show the power of this application. We can see that $2.17 billion is the allocated operating budget for the County of New Alexandria, and $6.4 billion is the capital budget. Now, before this app, I didn't even know that there was a difference between capital and operating budget, but now I can see that there is, and what section falls under each. I like drilling into the public safety section of this. As you drill down into public safety, you see that $573 million, or 26% of the operating budget, is allocated towards public safety. You can see what it's for by department. You can see where it's from. You can see that a lot of it comes from the general fund. Some comes from the fire department. Some comes from, and it all contributes towards the total. Some even comes from grants, but not very much. You can also compare what was proposed, and you can see that $573 million was the proposed amount and was the approved amount. Not all cases is this number the same, especially when it comes to operating budgets. So that being said, let's drill into the police section a little bit more. You can see that we've really tried to build this experience so you can go down all the way to the department and really the cell level. We've taken this massive spreadsheet of 15, 20, whatever thousands of rows, and added a whole lot of value and a whole lot of narrative around this data set so that you can really start to build, again, that contextual experience. Looks like we have a question that just came in. Can we make this budget info available only internally, by group maybe? That's a great question. And my initial reaction is yes, but I would have to double check on that, and I would be happy to look into that in more detail for you. We got another question here. It just says, I know open data, but. So if you could elaborate on that question, I'd be happy to answer that for you moving forward in the time that we have remaining. So back to this application, as we drill into public safety, we can see the different subsections of the programs in the department. I like looking at field services. I can drill all the way down into field services and see that $143 million of that, again, operating budget is dedicated towards field services. And we can go all the way, again, down to the cell level and see personnel costs and see expenditure type and amounts. Again, we're really trying to take this massive 50,000 row data set and bring it down to exactly the information that you're interested in looking at. Going back all the way to the top now, we've also built in some mapping functionality to this as well. So we can take this map and drill into it a little bit and find out a little bit more about the North Potomac Community Recreation Center. And it'll take me right to the section about the North Potomac Recreation Center. We can see what's the plan, where the money came from. We can see it came from GEO bonds and local money, and that all contributed to the total. We see that this project provides the design of a 33,000 net square foot community recreation center associated with the site of approximately 17 acres. We can see that this was allocated $35.7 million, which is 0.55% of the capital budget. And if we wanted to even go into the project website, we have a link in the project website for you to take a look at as well. And there it is. Going back here now, the other thing I wanted to show is that we have quite a bit of search functionality about this application as well. Let's say I was interested in learning more about libraries and some libraries located within the County of New Alexandria. I could go in here and click on different libraries and learn at where they are in their production process, whether they're planning, whether they're in preliminary design, whether they're in final design, all the way through construction and completion. I can really, learn more about what's going on in my city and in my community. Looks like we have a question here. Is this out-of-the-box functionality or enhancements? If you're referring to the open budget application, this is all out of the box. We've designed this app in design partnership with Montgomery County with the idea of being able to repurpose and reuse this application for other cities, states, counties, communities around the country. We wanted to make this as turnkey and repeatable as possible. So everything that you see here, as long as we can get your data in the correct schemas, is all very easy to turn on, almost at the flip of a switch. Great question, thank you. Looks like we have one more question here about getting data into the Socrata platform. Phenomenal question. So there are three main ways that we talk about getting data into the Socrata platform. Those are through a manual upload wizard. It's as simple as uploading a picture to Facebook. Wally Rogers, the eGov coordinator for the state of Oregon, always likes to say that if you can upload a picture to Facebook, you can upload a data set to Socrata, and it's very true. We have a really simple, straightforward wizard that walks you through the process, walks you through a metadata screen and an API screen so you can fix and make changes and set the data up in the form that makes the most sense for you. The second way we get data into the platform is leveraging ETL tools like FME from Safe Software or an ETL tool from Pentaho. And again, that's just a really simple way to help get data into the Socrata platform. We also have a lightweight desktop client that we call DataSync. DataSync is an open source desktop data transfer client that we have built. And the simplest way is just leveraging the APIs. And that's what you see with the state of Washington, with the city of Seattle and their 911 data set, is they're just leveraging the API to automate that process. What Socrata really tries to do and does very well is not to add extra business processes to what you're already doing. We like to make the process as simple and straightforward and painless as possible. So you can think about this a lot with our DataSync client. It's all about ease of use. So we have, you upload that thing onto your computer, you have a little folder that sits on your desktop, and you just save your files that you want to publish on the open data portal there, and then every night or every hour or whatever you set the timer to be, they just automatically update the Socrata open data portal on your website. Again, the idea is to not add any additional work for people, but to really help them streamline their processes that they have in place. Do we have any more questions about getting data into the Socrata platform or getting data out of the Socrata platform? It doesn't look like it now. Okay. Seems that we don't have any more questions at this time, and we're reaching the end of our allotted half hour for this webinar. Please feel free to email, call, talk to any of the Socrata folks as you will. I would also ask that you find us at Socrata.com, that you follow us on Twitter at Socrata. We have a Facebook profile as well as many YouTube videos, including demo videos helping walking through different tools and functionalities of the Socrata platform. There's a great bunch of resources there that I highly recommend checking out. Okay, I'll ask again, any more questions, but it doesn't seem like we have any at this time. And we've reached the end of our half hour, so with that said, I'd like to thank you all for your time, and I will end the webinar now. If you have any questions, feel free to call or email someone at the Socrata team, and we would be happy to answer them for you. Thanks, everyone, and look forward to talking to you soon.